Most car owners think detailing shops and mechanics have access to secret products that the average driver could never use. But what if I told you a huge percentage of those expensive, professional treatments are really just cheap household products hiding behind fancy labels and massive markups? Even worse, some shops are making thousands every month from problems you could fix yourself in under 10 minutes with products already sitting in your kitchen cabinet. And the craziest part? A few of these hacks don't just save money. They can actually prevent expensive long-term damage before it starts. So before you waste another dollar on overpriced detailing packages, here are 15 genius car cleaning and restoration hacks that sound fake, but work shockingly well. Let's start with something detailers quietly do on almost every single car before they charge customers hundreds for paint correction. Your paint might look clean after a wash, but run your hand across the surface slowly. Chances are it feels rough, gritty, and uneven. Most people think wax will fix that. It won't. In fact, waxing contaminated paint can actually trap harmful particles under the protective layer and slowly damage the finish over time. That's the part many car owners never hear about. The secret is a clay bar. And no, it's not some advanced tool only professionals can use. You can buy a full clay bar kit from almost any auto parts store for around 10 to 15 bucks. Spray the lubricant onto a section of paint and gently glide the clay back and forth in straight lines. Within seconds, you'll literally feel the clay grabbing contaminants buried deep in the clear coat. Brake dust, industrial fallout, tree sap residue. Tiny metal particles are floating through the air from traffic. Normal washing can't remove any of it, and the difference afterward feels insane. Paint that felt rough suddenly becomes smooth like glass. It honestly feels like the car was repainted. Detailers charge hundreds for paint rejuvenation, but this is one of the first steps they do themselves. Same clay, same process, same result. What makes this even crazier is that a lot of expensive ceramic coating packages still begin with this exact process before anything else happens. The clay bar is doing the heavy lifting long before the fancy coatings go on. But that's not something most shops advertise because informed customers start questioning those huge invoices. And speaking of things detailers never fully explain, your windshield is probably dirtier than you think, even if it looks clean. You know that annoying haze you see at night when headlights hit your windshield? Most people assume the glass is scratched or permanently damaged. Usually it's not. That cloudy film is often caused by silicone residue, interior protectants, cheap cleaners, and oily contamination slowly building up over time. Standard glass cleaner sometimes makes it even worse. Here's the hack. Grab a bottle of isopropyl alcohol. The stronger, the better. Pour a little onto a clean microfiber cloth and wipe the windshield in slow, overlapping passes. Almost instantly, the haze disappears because the alcohol cuts through oily residue without leaving streaks behind. The difference at night is honestly shocking. Oncoming headlights stop exploding across the glass. Visibility improves immediately. And the craziest part is that professional-grade prep wipes used before applying hydrophobic coatings are basically doing the same thing. Most people spend money on expensive rain-repellent products without realizing that the prep stage is what actually determines whether the coating lasts. Skip the alcohol wipe, and the coating fails faster. Do it properly, and the treatment bonds far better. But dirty glass isn't the only thing quietly making your car look neglected. Every time you roll your windows down, those black streaks appearing on the glass aren't coming from outside dirt. They're usually coming from the rubber window seals themselves. Over months and years, grime builds up deep inside the channels where almost nobody cleans. Here's the easy fix detailers use constantly. Grab ordinary baby wipes, pull the rubber seal back slightly and run the wipe through the entire track. You'll probably be disgusted by what comes out. Dust, grease, rubber residue, road grime. Sometimes years of buildup. Once the channels are clean, the streaking disappears almost immediately. But there's something even more important happening behind the scenes. Dirty seals dry out faster. When they crack, water starts sneaking into the door panels and interior. That can lead to electrical issues, mold, and expensive repairs that most people never see coming. A $3 pack of baby wipes can literally help extend the life of your seals for years. Yet detailing packages often bury this inside. Premium window treatment services nobody questions. And now we get into the hacks that sound completely ridiculous, until you see the results yourself. Most people would never imagine using coconut oil on their car, But some detailers quietly know it works surprisingly well for restoring faded trim and adding temporary shine. If your black plastic trim looks gray and chalky, or your paint feels dull even after washing, apply a tiny amount of pure coconut oil onto a microfiber cloth and work it into the surface lightly. Then buff it off like wax. The oils restore depth to faded plastics and create water repellency similar to some natural wax products. The effect on old trim pieces can honestly make them look years newer in minutes. Now obviously, this isn't a permanent ceramic coating replacement, but that's the point. A lot of instant shine products sold at detail shops are temporary. Why too? They just come in expensive bottles with aggressive marketing. And coconut oil has another trick most people never hear about. It can help condition certain leather and vinyl surfaces when used sparingly. One cheap jar suddenly replaces multiple overpriced specialty products. But the next hack might be even crazier because it attacks one of the biggest things passengers notice the second they enter your car: dirty carpet. Most people spray air fresheners endlessly without realizing the smell is trapped deep inside the carpet fibers themselves. Food spills, dirt, moisture, oils from shoes. Over time, the carpet becomes a giant odor sponge. Professional extraction services can cost well over $100. But here's what's wild. The chemistry inside many upholstery cleaners is incredibly similar to ordinary shampoo. Mix a small amount of shampoo with warm water in a spray bottle. Spray the carpet lightly and scrub with a stiff brush. Then blot everything with dry towels to pull the dirt out. The surfactants inside shampoo are literally designed to break down oils and grime. And if you add a little white vinegar to the mixture, it neutralizes odors instead of just masking them. The before and after difference can feel unbelievable. The flattened carpet starts lifting again. Stains fade dramatically. The cabin smells cleaner instead of just perfumed. And the reason this matters so much today is that modern cars are loaded with soft-touch materials that absorb odors faster than older interiors did. Once smells settle deep enough, resale value can drop hard without owners even realizing why buyers lose interest. But while carpet stains are annoying, this next issue quietly drives people insane every single night. Tiny windshield scuffs. You know those little abrasions that catch sunlight and headlights just right? The ones you can't stop staring at while driving? Most people assume they need expensive glass polishing. Not always. Plain white toothpaste, not gel, contains mild abrasives designed to polish surfaces gently. Put a little onto a damp cloth and rub the scuffed area in tight circles for about a minute. Then wipe clean. Minor scuffs and light abrasions often fade dramatically because the toothpaste smooths microscopic imperfections in the surface. And this trick works on more than just glass. Many people use similar methods on plastic headlight lenses and mirrors, too. No, obviously this won't fix cracks or serious damage. But that's exactly why this hack surprises people so much. Shops often present every little issue as if it requires specialized service, because most drivers never test simpler solutions first. And speaking of restoring things cheaply, your tires might be making your entire car look older than it actually is. Dry brown tire sidewalls instantly make a clean vehicle look neglected. That faded appearance comes from oxidation, UV exposure, and chemical blooming inside the rubber. Most tire shine products are basically silicone or petroleum-based dressings with added fragrance and branding. But petroleum jelly creates a similar effect for a fraction of the price. Apply a thin layer across the tire sidewall and work it in evenly. The rubber darkens almost immediately, restoring that rich black appearance people associate with showroom cars. And there's another hidden advantage. Keeping sidewalls conditioned can help slow visible cracking over time. That matters because dry rot eventually weakens the tire itself. What's funny is that some luxury detail packages charge separately for tire conditioning, even though the process often takes only minutes. But cosmetic damage isn't the only thing quietly destroying cars. Rust is one of the most expensive problems drivers ignore until it's too late. And once body shops get involved, costs explode fast. But surface rust, that's sometimes easier to stop than people realize. Coca-Cola contains phosphoric acid, the same active ingredient used in many rust converters. Pour some onto light rust spots, let it sit briefly, then scrub with aluminum foil or a stiff brush. The acid helps break down oxidation while the foil adds gentle abrasion. Surface rust lifts away surprisingly well. Now, to be clear, this won't magically repair severe structural rust. but catching small spots early can prevent massive future damage. And that's the real theme behind so many of these hacks. Small, neglected issues quietly become giant, expensive repairs later. Dealerships and body shops profit massively when owners wait too long. Once the rust is removed, spraying a protective layer of WD-40 over the area helps slow moisture exposure and future corrosion. You've basically done a mini rust treatment for pocket change. And while we're talking about WD-40, most people have no idea how many problems that little blue can actually solve. Old stickers and adhesive residue are a nightmare. Dealer decals, parking permits, registration stickers. They bake onto the surface and leave behind glue that attracts dirt forever. Instead of scraping aggressively and risking scratches, spray WD-40 directly onto the adhesive and let it soak briefly. The petroleum solvents break down the glue so it peels away cleanly. And the same trick works on tar spots, road paint, and bug residue too. That's why some detailers quietly keep WD-40 around even while selling customers specialized adhesive removers. The chemistry overlap is closer than most people think. But if you think that's surprising, wait until you hear what people are using to restore cloudy headlights. Yellowed headlights make a car look ancient. Worse, they destroy nighttime visibility. Some studies show that severely oxidized headlights can reduce usable light output dramatically. Most restoration kits rely on acid compounds and mild abrasives. So what happens if you combine lemon and baking soda? The citric acid helps break down oxidation, while the baking soda polishes the lens surface. Rub the mixture onto the headlight in circular motions for a few minutes and rinse clean. The difference can honestly shock people the first time they try it. Again, this isn't magic, it's chemistry. But because most drivers assume every car problem requires expensive products, simple solutions feel unbelievable. And what happened next completely changed how some people cleaned their interiors forever. Most dashboards look greasy because people use the wrong towels. Paper towels leave lint everywhere. Cheap clothes smear dust around instead of removing it. But coffee filters? They're designed specifically not to leave fibers behind. Slightly dampen a coffee filter and wipe across the dashboard and instrument cluster slowly. Dust lifts away cleanly without streaks or lint. And because instrument clusters scratch incredibly easily, using softer or lint-free materials matters more than people realize. This same trick works beautifully on the infotainment screen, NS2, which matters because replacement screens in modern cars can cost thousands. Now let's talk about something most people completely ignore until nighttime driving becomes miserable: the inside of the windshield. Almost nobody cleans the interior side properly. Over time, plastics and vinyl release microscopic oils into the cabin air. That oily film sticks to the glass and creates glare. Here's the old-school trick people have used for decades. Newspaper, spray cleaner onto the glass, then wipe using crumpled newspaper instead of towels. The texture polishes the surface without leaving lint behind. It sounds ancient because it is ancient. People were using this trick generations ago, but it still works. And once you see how clear the glass becomes, it's hard to go back to ordinary paper towels again. But now we're getting into one of the nastiest hidden problems inside cars. That musty smell is blasting from your AC vents. A lot of people panic and assume something expensive broke. Usually the problem is mold, mildew, and bacteria growing inside damp vent channels. Foam vent cleaner works shockingly well because it expands deep inside areas that sprays can't reach. Spray short bursts into the vents, run the AC afterward, and the smell often disappears almost immediately. Mechanics sometimes charge huge amounts for air purification services, even though much of the improvement comes from simple cleaning products doing the heavy lifting. And here's something else many drivers don't know. Constantly shutting the car off immediately after using the AC leaves moisture trapped inside the system. Letting the fan run briefly before shutting down can help reduce moisture buildup over time. Little habits like that quietly prevent huge problems later. But the next hack is probably the weirdest looking one on this list. Black shoe polish on tires. At first glance, it sounds ridiculous. But shoe polish is literally designed to restore dark surfaces and bond to material evenly. Apply it lightly to faded tire sidewalls and buff gently. Scuffs fade. Lettering pops. The tire suddenly looks dramatically newer. And unlike some silicone tire shines that sling greasy residue across the paint while driving, shoe polish tends to stay put longer. The funniest part is that many people spend huge amounts of money chasing that showroom finish. without realizing the effect often comes from very simple surface restoration. But now we've reached the final hack, and this one actually affects how your engine performs. Most people don't realize that carbon buildup slowly forms inside the throttle body over time. That buildup restricts airflow and causes hesitation, rough idle, sluggish acceleration, and poor throttle response. Shops love charging for throttle body cleaning services because the symptoms feel serious to drivers. Rough idle sounds scary. Hesitation feels expensive. But in many cases, the fix is surprisingly straightforward. Locate the throttle body connected to the air intake. With the engine off, wipe away buildup carefully using a cloth and solvent like WD-40. Carbon deposits loosen quickly, especially around the throttle plate itself. Once cleaned, the engine often idles more smoothly immediately. Throttle response sharpens. Acceleration feels more responsive again. And here's the part many people miss completely. A dirty throttle body can quietly hurt fuel economy too. That means every mile driven with restricted airflow slowly costs more money at the pump. This is especially common in modern direct injection engines, where carbon buildup happens faster than older drivers expect. Now, obviously, not every rough idle issue is caused by the throttle body. Sometimes deeper problems exist. But the fact that such a cheap cleaning process can fix symptoms people assume require major repairs is exactly why this hack spreads so quickly online. And once you start noticing how many premium services are really just basic cleaning, lubrication, or surface restoration, it completely changes how you look at the automotive industry. Because the truth is, most drivers were never taught how simple many maintenance tasks really are. Shops rely on complexity, fancy terminology, big invoices. The average car owner hears technical language and assumes expensive expertise must be involved. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's literally a $5 household product and 10 minutes of work. That's why informed car owners save insane amounts of money over time. They catch problems earlier. They maintain surfaces before damage spreads. They understand the chemistry instead of falling for marketing. And the scary part? Most people still have no idea these hacks exist. So how many of these did you already know about? And which one shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments because some of these still sound fake even after seeing the results. And if this video saved you money, hit subscribe for more car secrets, maintenance tricks, and hidden industry shortcuts that mechanics and detailers rarely explain openly. Because once you learn what's really happening behind the scenes, you stop overpaying forever. And trust me, there are even crazier car hacks that detail shops hope drivers never discover.